Hello everyone. Today I'm going to be talking about clothing. Clothing that's actually beneficial to our bodies. Alright? And you know this so-called white man, which is an enemy, have plenty of us dressing his way. Alright? You see, their species is supposed to wear these type of fabrics. Why? Because the way their bodies were designed to operate in cold climates. That's why their bodies are naturally more hairy than ours. We really aren't supposed to be wearing these type of fabrics like them, especially when it comes to coats and items made directly from fur. You see, our skin is made of liquid metal. It's made of liquid carbon. So these clothings out here don't really do anything for us but, I don't know, make us look good or provide some type of comfort or whatever. But I'm about to get into the video, alright? So let's get to it. This here is a study that was done on the frequency of fabric. Alright, now remember, our bodies by nature were designed to vibrate at the highest frequencies. Now check this out. You got rayon. Alright, rayon fabric has a frequency of 15 megahertz. Then you got polyester, which is nothing but a different type of plastic, has a frequency of 15 megahertz as well, and so is silk. And then you got cotton, which is like, okay, so let's just say like the watered down cotton that they have created, that operates at 70 megahertz frequency. And then you got organic cotton that operates at 100 megahertz frequency. But once you get all the way up to the top to where it says linen and wool both have a frequency of 5,000 megahertz. Alright, and that's extremely high. That's a good amount of frequency. And so that means that our people, we should be wearing linen clothing. Alright, and I feel that we should be wearing linen more than we wear wool, because wool still comes from an animal at the end of the day. Alright, and if you read this right here, it says mixed linen and wool equals 0% frequency. It appears that the frequencies cancel each other out. Alright, so that just means that even though these frequencies, they both have a frequency of 5,000 megahertz, but they're going at different currents. Right, they're going at different wavelengths. They're operating from different wavelengths and different currents. So linen is going up and wool is going down. Alright, and you see, when you're dealing with the currents, linen has a current from right to left, while wool has a current from left to right. And when you're dealing with left to right, that is a lower frequency than right to left. And you know what's funny about this? What's funny about this is that our ancestors, when we originally wrote on the papyrus, which today we call it paper. Today we call it paper, but we originally wrote on the papyrus. We wrote from right to left. We wrote from right to left because we understand the frequency behind it. We understand that it was vibrations and that was all type of energies that was being, created when we wrote from right to left. All right. And you see, this right here is the papyrus. This right here is an example of the papyrus that we wrote on. Alright? They're invented by the Egyptians. Although not paper in the true sense, papyrus was the first writing material to assume many of the properties of what we know now as paper. Alright? Okay, so when we go back to this study right here, as far as the fabrics, linen is what we can wear. Linen is the fabric that us carbon beings could be wearing. Cause this right here will actually boost up our frequency. When they did this research, when they did this study, the people who did it, they bounced a ball of energy, or like a photon, on the fabric, and then they measured the wavelengths or the currents or how fast it bounced it back towards them, and linen was the highest one. Alright, linen had the highest hertz, and it had the better structured frequency and wavelengths. So linen is a good fabric, for you guys to choose to wear if you want to, you know. And then you know what, we're also supposed to be wearing different type of clothing that's made from metals and things like that. Our ancestors, they wore a lot of gold, they wore a lot of copper, they wore a lot of crystals, they wore all these different type of metals, and it brought us power, and it boosted our frequency, it made our vibrations rise. All right, now when you look at what linen is made from, it's made from flaxseed. It's made from a plant called flaxseed. All right, let me see here. It's made from the stem. It's made from the stem of the plant. It's made from the stem of the plant, flaxseed. Yeah, all right, and it says right here, linen is a flax-based textile that is predominantly used for homeware applications. While linen is similar to cotton, it is made from fibers derived from the stems of the flax plant instead of the bolls that grow around cotton seeds. Garments made of linen are desirable in hot and humid climates. Alright, so it don't only boosts our frequency, it also keeps us cool in tropical environments as well. So yeah, guys, I highly recommend you guys to check out linen fabric. Check it out. See where you can get from, and things like that. Linen is very beneficial for our bodies, especially in these times, especially what's going on around the planet, and what's happening with the sun and things like that. All right, guys. Well, you guys stay safe. Continue doing what you're doing. Continue building. Whatever it is you gotta do. Because this system is pretty much almost over with. All right, the government is trying very hard. They're trying very hard, to stop this. They can't stop what's getting ready to happen on the planet. All right, what's getting ready to happen on the planet is gonna happen regardless. All right, dealing with CERN and what these government agencies and what they're doing, nothing can stop this. The planet is already in effect for a reset. So it's not the end of the planet, it's the end of the system. Re-rise and they fall. It's as simple as that. Alright, so this is just some benefits of linen that you guys can look over. Peace.